Sydney's rental market has gone from bad to worse,
with price growth continuing a record run.
Open homes have been described as the Hunger Games.
Am I being gaslit by New South Wales right now?
It's now so bad, some are giving up and heading interstate.
I really love Sydney, but I can't afford it.
State governments are scrambling to come up with ways to help those in need. But the fear is any action will be too little, too late.
What happens to a city when its unaffordability begins to repel the skilled workers and the talented minds it needs to survive and thrive? The concern at the highest levels is that in Sydney, we're about to find out.
The median cost of renting in Sydney is up by $100 or 20% in a year. That's never happened. Actors Charmaine Enculescu and Gemma Dart have had to move after their rent went up 34% in 13 months. I first met them while they were looking for a new place. Miss Enculescu, until recently of Brisbane, was none too impressed.
I'm like, is this the norm here? Do I just kind of like,
compromise quality of living to be in this location?
Exactly. Am I being gaslit by New South Wales right now?
Yes.
Sydney?
Yes, you are.
They eventually found a place they could afford after splitting the rent with an extra housemate. Miss Enculescu, who also has a PhD in molecular biology, said she sees no future in Sydney, noting a recent global survey ranked the city the 6th most expensive in the world.
I don't see any longevity in Sydney with regards to like the rental crisis at the moment. There's no prospect of me ever buying a home here, so yeah, it's very unappealing.
Aged care nurse Anuja Badarai is preparing to leave Sydney and move to Brisbane when her sister-in-law Ashmita Rijal finishes her social work master's degree in about 6 months. Ms Badarai's husband is also an aged care nurse. They all live together. Since their rent rose by 35% recently, they've had to get a 4th person in to make ends meet. They love Sydney, but Ms Badarai says they have little option but to leave.
What we are thinking is we are trying to move to more sustainable cities like Brisbane. Me and my families, we are frontline workers. So moving there, it will provide us more opportunities, and I believe the pay is good for that too. I don't see my future getting up here. Like, I can't afford a house. So if there is no future, of course you have to move from the city despite you love the city.
Tenants Union of New South Wales CEO Leo Patterson-Ross said Sydney is beginning to fall apart as people are forced out. The reports he is receiving show there are many others considering making the same moves as Miss Enculescu and Miss Badarai and her family.
We are hearing, that health professionals are looking to other states, that creatives are looking to other states and cities to move to because they're not able to find a good home here. Once everything does calm down a bit, we're going to be at a much higher level of rent. We're going to be at a new normal of a different level of rent stress for a lot of people. And in the meantime, there will have been a lot of upheaval for communities, for neighbours and friends and families.
In an exclusive interview with the Daily Telegraph, Premier Chris Minns said he fears an exodus of our most talented and essential workers.
When I was in my 20s, people would say, will I ever be able to afford to buy a place in Sydney? Now the question many people ask is, can I ever even afford to rent a place? And that change has been more acute since I've grown up. And, I'm really concerned about the next generation of young Australians and their ability to find a place to live in a place like New South Wales.
Sydney is getting too expensive for the people it needs and wants. Without urgent and significant change, those that make this place both fun and functional will be forced out, leaving us all worse off.
Homelessness is the absolute worst possible position for anyone to be in.
Some Sydney workers are being forced to live on the streets despite being employed.
We cannot solve homelessness without more housing.